Now on CoastTV News.
Dune fix, how a new project could help protect Broadkill Beach and when work might begin. Swim scoop, the details are out for the Chincoteague Pony Swim. What's the plan this year? And growing conflict. Iran vows to hit back deadly Israeli strikes. Where things stand tonight.
This is CoastTV News at 11.
Good Friday evening. I'm Christina DeRobertis. Thanks for joining us. Our top story tonight, the international community calling for calm as Israel says its unprecedented strikes on Iran may not be over and Iran begins counter strikes. Karen Kaifa in Washington with the latest developments and White House reaction.
After Israel launched an unprecedented attack on Iran, blasts in Tel Aviv and Jerusalem Friday night. And the Israel Defense Forces said they had identified incoming missiles launched from Iran toward Israel. Iran said via state media Friday night that its retaliation had begun. But observers of the region say the potential for full-scale conflict depends upon their capability to sustain it.
If they actually have the capacity left to be able to respond. I think they have been taken completely by surprise.
Israel launched its first strikes just before sunrise in Iran on Friday. The operation, Israel said, was aimed at stopping Tehran's progress toward developing nuclear weapons, progress Israel sees as a threat. The attacks killed some of Iran's top military leaders and nuclear scientists and struck some of its nuclear facilities. President Trump said on social media Friday that Iran should agree to a nuclear deal, quote, before there is nothing left. One expert says if the intent is to pressure Iran to the negotiating table, it may have the opposite effect.
If it doesn't respond, it loses all credibility, it will be weak, and the Israelis are not going to stop. And so Iran is bound to retaliate, and then President Trump is going to be in a very difficult position managing an escalation.
The Middle East tension sent crude oil prices soaring on Friday, and airline stocks dropped as a number of major global carriers, including Emirates, Lufthansa, and Air France, suspended flights to and from locations in the region. In Washington, I'm Karen Kaifa.
All right, now we're going to take a live look outside into Ocean City and turn things right over to our first alert meteorologist, Chris Mastrobono. Chris, you said you saw some rain coming in tonight.
Yeah, we have that rain beginning to work into the area after a warm and muggy day. Most of us escaped any rain. We had one little renegade shower that passed into southeastern portions of Sussex County and Ocean City, but we had 87 degrees today in Georgetown. It was a warm and muggy day, but showers are beginning to build into the area. We're at 75 right now in Salisbury. It's been a muggy evening, and we're going to be seeing those scattered showers and storms begin to overspread the region now. We could see them working into the eastern shore, some heavy rain just to the east of Easton, pushing into Denton, embedded thunderstorms there, and you can see plenty more shower and thunderstorm activity back off to the west. This is all associated with a stalled out frontal boundary, so we're going to see little waves of showers and storms push over the area throughout the weekend. So not a complete washout. We're seeing the first wave now, and then we'll see likely the second one tomorrow afternoon through the evening. Minor flooding is possible where we do see the heavier rain. Highs tomorrow between 77 to 83 inland, 75 to 80 at the coast, and we are looking at a rather cloudy, gloomy, but mainly dry Father's Day, I think. We are going to see that east wind, and we are going to see more rain by Sunday night into Monday. We'll talk about that, and we'll see the return of 90-degree temperatures coming up in that full 7-day forecast. Christina?
Thank you, Chris. The Ocean City Air Show will start 30 minutes early tomorrow due to those forecasted storms that Chris was just telling us about. The air show will now take place at 11:30 a.m. It's expected to last 3 hours. This was the view over Ocean City yesterday and today as show performers did site surveys and practice runs before the weekend's events. The air show runs until Sunday. Also, details on the world-famous Chincoteague Pony Swim have been announced. The South End herd scheduled to be rounded up on July 26th at 7 a.m. Then the North End will be gathered on the 27th at 6 a.m. A beach walk is planned for 8 a.m. on the 28th with vet checks and buyback picks. The big pony swim across the Assateague Channel will be the morning of Wednesday, July 30th. July 31st is the auction, with the swim back set for August 1st. Well, dunes are essential protection for many, if not all, of our coastal communities. But One Bay Beach in Sussex County is dealing with major dune erosion. CoastTV News reporter Emma Aiken was in our coast copter earlier and shows us how the state is planning to deal with that.
We are flying above Broadkill Beach, where the state has proposed the dunes be rebuilt. As you can see from our CoastCopter, the dunes are severely eroded, and this project would help fix that.
DNREC wants to realign a 1-mile section of these dunes to be more in line with the current shoreline. Chuck Lawrence says it's a great idea.
I think to make it look more natural and make it look like it's not just a wall between here and the rest of the world.
The state says all work will occur above the average high tide line, and reconstructing the eroded center section of the beach will fix the realignment. Jim Leonard lives on the beach. He thinks the protection is necessary for the environment and those living there.
Certainly everyone on the property owner-wise wants to have a dune to protect their properties.
The proposed realignment would begin in October.
Back in our CoastCopter now, the state's proposal also calls for taking sand from the southern part of the beach to help restore the northern part. Reporting from our CoastCopter above Broadkill Beach, Emma Aiken, Coast TV News.
And we'll go now to our Coast TV poll tonight. We want to know what you think matters most when it comes to beach restoration. Looking at the results now, you can see 83% say stopping erosion. That's obviously the most popular answer. 17% say storm protection. Nobody really worried about the natural look or the easier access. You can still vote though. You can change up the answers. Go to coasttv.com or use our mobile app. Well, a trio involved in a shooting near the Slaughter Beach Fire Company are on the loose tonight. Delaware State Police say a party was going on at the pavilion behind the fire company yesterday. They say 3 people opened fire on the attendees at about 7 p.m. A 32-year-old Dover man was shot. He has since been released from the hospital. Investigators say the suspects were dressed in all black and wearing ski masks. Anyone with information should contact Delaware State Police. Now to a story we have been closely following here at Coast TV. Another day of the Delaware General Assembly. They were not in session today, but District 20 Representative Stell Parker-Selby has continually been absent. She represents roughly 23,000 voters in the Milton area. She's missed every single House vote this year. That's at least 118. Politicians have confirmed that Parker-Selby had a stroke. Now, with less than 7 days left in this year's General Assembly, the Speaker of the House cannot remove Parker-Selby. She also declines to call for her resignation, but she did say this.
We're going to focus on getting virtual voting passed through our rules, and then that way we can most likely see Rep. Parker-Selby.
Do you think that will happen before the end of this session?
We're working on it.
What would you like the people of the 20th District to hear from you directly?
That we are working on virtual voting. Thanks for stopping.
But you don't expect her to come here in person to do her job?
Now, keep in mind, even if virtual voting comes into play, Stell Parker-Selby has not been seen at Legislative Hall all year. Only one photo of her has been released to the media. The General Assembly back in session next week. And for the full story, including questions that remain unanswered, you can head to coasttv.com. Faculty at Warwick Community College are calling out what they say is stalled contract talks. On Thursday, teachers gathered at the college pushing for fair pay and better working conditions. They say administrative salaries have jumped 30% in 5 years, while faculty wages have remained stagnant. The group is demanding a 7% raise and more support, such as pay transparency, equitable teaching loads, and better course release time. A new directive from the Trump administration could send shockwaves through the Haitian community in Wicomico County. The Department of Homeland Security has ended a Biden-era parole program, that program known as CHNV. It gave immigrants from Cuba, Haiti, Nicaragua, and Venezuela a legal path into the country. But yesterday, DHS announced it will start sending termination notices to program participants, asking them to immediately leave the country. The Haitian Development Center of Delmarva says this will put immigrants in a very difficult spot.
They're going to be ordered to go back home. I mean, they're going to go back to hell. So there's no protection. And I don't know what they're going to do, because if I were in the place, I probably would not go back home.
And DHS estimates more than 500,000 people entered the country under that parole program. It's unclear at the moment how many people will be directly impacted. A recent high school graduate is fighting to recover after being hit by a bus in Ocean City during his senior week. Reporter Taylor Hess spoke with the young man's family about what happened and what comes next.
He said, "Why am I here?" I said, you got hit by a bus." And he said, "There's no way. I'm at home right now. I'm in my bed. I'm just dreaming."
It wasn't a dream, it's a nightmare. Trevor was in Ocean City, Maryland, celebrating his recent high school graduation with his friends. Not long after that, his dad, Joseph Vollmer, says he got the call early Saturday morning that no parent wants.
They said that I should stop whatever I was doing and get myself ready and get down there because Trevor had been in a bad accident and he's being taken to the hospital in an ambulance. They're not sure if he was going to make it.
Trevor was playing with a ball when it rolled into the street and he went to retrieve it.
He was facing the bus with his head down, bent over, and that's why when it hit him, it just crushed his spine, compressed his spine, and split his head wide open and gave a brain injury and bleeding on the brain.
Now he's left with serious injuries and the question of if he'll ever be able to walk again.
As of right now, he cannot feel from his waist down.
But if it weren't for two people who were on board that bus that hopped out to help, Trevor might not be here.
They got him breathing again. He was actually out and not breathing. He was dead. And they did CPR on him and got him back to life.
Trevor now begins a long journey to recovery.
He's said to me several times, like, "Dad, I just want to finish senior week and have fun with my friends. When can I get out of here, please?"
Still more news to get into this evening. Coming up next, a donation breakthrough, how Bay Health is leading the way on life-saving technology. But first, it's Friday, so we have all the cool things to do this weekend.
And yes, we're talking about more unsettled weather this weekend. Cambridge, Crisfield, a lot of clouds tomorrow and Sunday. 80 on Saturday, a bit drier on our Father's Day, but we keep the shower threat in play through Monday. We'll break down the latest timing for the rain in a little bit.
From high-flying jets to local festivals, there are quite a few ways to enjoy yourself on Delmarva this weekend. So here's a look at your cool things to do. If you're looking to fill your weekend with a bit of adrenaline, you'll want to head to Ocean City and look up. The U.S. Navy Blue Angels headline Ocean City's air show Saturday and Sunday. You'll also catch the F-16 Viper demo team, A-10 Thunderbolts, and more. Rainbow flags will fly high in Milton Saturday for the Milton Pride Festival. From 4 to 8, enjoy food trucks and entertainment, all while celebrating diversity and love. Georgetown's EMS Carnival continues until Saturday night with games and rides for a good cause. Plus, Saturday is Worldwide Knit in Public Day. Members of Lewis Library's In the Loop Knitting and Crocheting Group will meet at Mary Vessels Park to knit the day away. Visitors and locals are welcome to stop by. Find all the details on CoastTV.com under Cool Things to Do.
Well, we had one little renegade thunderstorm that pushed through southeastern Sussex, Ocean County, and Ocean City earlier this afternoon, but we were able to salvage the evening. Quite a muggy evening at that. 72 degrees, dew point 73, and now we're beginning to see some showers roll into the area. Temperatures quite mild at this hour. 70 in Rehoboth, we're at 76 in Seaford, 70 in Milford, and 74 in Delmar. And the dew points are quite high, upper 60s to lower 70s. So there's a lot of moisture in the atmosphere. So when we're reducing the rain, it's coming down pretty good. And we do have a dense marine fog advisory that is up through 8 a.m. that extends from Fenwick Island up through Lewis and through the Delaware Bay. And we do have a flood watch for Accomack County and portions to the southwest. Those areas are going to see the heavier rainfall over the next 2 days. So here's some steadier rain beginning to work into the eastern shore. Easton seeing a rumble of thunder just to the north of you, but this is beginning to weaken as it pushes to the east. So brief rumbles of thunder and some heavier pockets of rain expected at least through about 3, 4 o'clock, but you could see plenty more moisture back off to the west. The stone out front extending from the Midwest through right over Delmarva. And basically, we're going to see areas of low pressure right along this front throughout the weekend. The first of which comes through tonight. Then we see a bit of a break through the morning tomorrow. 70 overnight, so a mild night with the showers and a rumble of thunder with the areas of fog. There's the stone out front, and that's really going to be the kind of pattern we're going to be in for the next 3 days. Not a complete washout of a weekend, but we're going to be dodging the showers and storms. So the morning primarily dry, temperatures generally in the upper 70s to around 80 degrees with those afternoon scattered showers and storms. Here you see one firing up near Fenwick Island around 12:30, 1 o'clock tomorrow, kind of hit and miss variety around Ocean City around 2:30, and then we see more shower and potential thunderstorm activity rolling in by around 6:30. Not expecting any severe storms, so that is certainly good news, but where we do see these downpours, it could come down pretty heavy, pretty quickly, and we could see some isolated pockets of flash flooding occur in those areas, not expecting any widespread flooding. But the rain chances over the next 5 days, the good news is I think the dads get a bit of a break from the rain on Sunday, but then we see those rain chances ramp up Sunday night in the money. As far as excessive rainfall, you could see slight risk well to the southwest of Delmarva, but we are on a marginal risk for excessive rainfall. We get a break on Sunday, but you see that east wind. Remember last Sunday we had a lot of clouds, much cooler. That's what we're going to see this Sunday, but another area of low pressure pushing in Sunday night through Monday. Keep the clouds in play through Tuesday, and then we dry out. In fact, our Father's Day, we're going for a forecasted high of 70, but you see here the top 3 coldest daily highs since 1945, the coldest 65 in 1999. Might crack the top 3 there coming in on Sunday. So we keep the clouds in play through Tuesday, and then we finally kind of break this pattern. 88 into Wednesday, and then we see some summer-like temperatures Thursday, 90, with a chance of an afternoon storm.
All right, thank you, Chris. And staying with weather for a moment, President Donald Trump says he plans to phase out FEMA after the 2025 hurricane season. The president said he wants to bring FEMA down to the state level and let governors handle it. Federal and state emergency managers say most states don't have the budget or personnel to handle catastrophic disasters on their own. Well, you might remember the name Nola Dinkins, the 3-year-old girl at the center of a heartbreaking case now under investigation. A false Amber Alert went out for her Tuesday night, and soon after, police said the child's mother is accused of killing her. As Jessica Cardaliha reports, the child's devastated grandmother is speaking out, demanding justice for her granddaughter.
Is Nola.
From her home in Indiana, Velma Dinkins shares stories of her granddaughter she lovingly called her Nola Bear.
She captured everybody's heart. From the moment you saw her, you fell in love with her.
Maryland State Police say 3-year-old Nola Dinkins was discovered in a vacant parking lot in Cecil County. Nola's mother, 31-year-old Darian Randall, is charged with her murder.
And we have so many questions, but all of that is going to come in due time.
According to an arrest affidavit, Randall confessed to physically striking the victim with a belt approximately 15 to 20 times. Randall told police that when Nola stopped moving, she put her daughter's body in a suitcase. It remained there overnight at the home that Randall shared with her boyfriend, 44-year-old Cedric Antoine Britton, in Northeast Maryland. On Wednesday, police discovered the suitcase with Nola's body in a vacant parking lot. Britton is accused of helping Randall dispose of the little girl's body.
And we are just heartbroken that this has happened to us. My precious baby and my son is well loved, and he is going to get what he needs, and we're going to get the justice that we need, and we're going to get the closure, because he will never be alone.
In addition to facing murder charges in Maryland, Randall is charged with falsely reporting that her daughter had been kidnapped in Delaware. An Amber Alert was issued, then canceled hours later.
Go, Grandma, baby. She touched so many people, and they remember her because she is unforgettable.
Coming up in sports tonight, a former Stephen Decatur lacrosse star having success at the college level, but she still comes home for her off-season work.
This is CoastTV News at 11.
New tonight, Bay Health just now one of very few hospitals in the country using a system to support life-saving organ donations. The hospital system teaming up with Gift of Life Donor Program to enhance the organ and tissue donation process. Officials say data from Bay Health's electronic health record system will flow into Gift of Life's donor record system through a new innovative app. The connection ensures accurate information and gives caretakers more time to focus on patients and their families. Bay Health, just the third hospital in the nation and the first in Delaware to have this technology. Meanwhile, BB Healthcare offered an open house for its new facility in Long Neck this week. BB says the new primary care will be able to offer about 20,000 appointments throughout the year. Tours showed off space for mental health services, exam rooms, and places for conducting virtual visits, but BB's CEO says empty rooms were left on purpose for future growth. Well, a new report says many workers are not happy with their jobs, not because of what they do, but when they do it. The study shows nearly 2/3 of American workers struggle with volatile work schedules. About 41% of workers say they have little to no control of what days or how many hours they work. More than a quarter of them said they don't know their schedule more than 2 weeks in advance, and it is more common among part-time workers and those without a college degree. Well, don't forget to celebrate that father or father figure in your life this weekend. Sunday is Father's Day, a perfect time to urge your favorite guy to extend his life. In today's Health Minute, Mandy Gaither has 5 tips for men.
It's not always on top of the priority list. Fathers and father figures may need a push to focus on their health.
Men in society are expected to be the leaders of their family units, to be strong, not to complain, endure pain, work through it.
Dr. Edward Cartman with El Camino Health in California says stress can take a toll, but there are 5 tips men can use to optimize their health. First, get regular checkups and get screened at each stage of life.
So in their 20s and 30s, be screening for testicular cancers. When they get into their 40s and 50s, start looking at heart disease, and 60s and 70s, looking at cancer risks and screenings.
Next, find ways to manage stress. Cartman says regular exercise is a perfect stress reliever, and it can also help with the third goal, maintaining a healthy body weight. That can help lower risk of heart disease, diabetes, joint pain, sleep apnea, and more. Fourth, prioritize getting good quality sleep, a key component for both mental and physical health. And finally, Cartman says to make sure your testosterone levels are balanced.
It's an equivalent hormone to estrogen in women. It plays a lot of similar vital roles in terms of bone health, energy, mood, muscle health, just a variety of things. There's studies now coming out showing that a healthy testosterone level is related with a longer lifespan.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
Moving to sports now. Every year, plenty of Delmarva athletes make their way to the collegiate level. And one of those local stars credits her hometown gym with preparing her for the next level. DSN's Kayla Santiago has more.
Lena Burnell Clark, former Stephen Decatur lacrosse player, just finished her sophomore season at Messiah University. The Attack says that the Athlete Academy raises the standards for off-season workouts.
The lifts here are structured like exactly the same as college, so I think first day of lifts it was like I already kind of felt like I had my foot in the door and I already knew what was happening and the structure of everything.
And Burnell Clark has key focuses at Athlete Academy this summer before she enters her junior year.
Right now, say building my stamina and my strength.
Athlete Academy is the home for a ton of the local athletes we cover on the Delmarva Sports Network. And Alina Burnell Clark encourages every athlete to attend if they want to elevate their game.
The atmosphere, I feel like maybe like lifting with other athletes can be a little intimidating for some, and just like the family that we've built here, you know, like the trainers and the people who train are all like my closest friends, so.
And for Burnell Clark, her biggest goal at the Berlin facility is to
Probably just to reach my fullest potential, in the weight room.
Alina Burdell-Clark will continue her off-season training at the Athlete Academy as she gears up for her junior season at Messiah for women's lacrosse. Reporting from Berlin, Maryland for the Delmarva Sports Network, I'm Kayla Santiago.
Here's another live look outside. This is supposed to be looking into the Milford area, but Chris Mastrobono will have one more check on your forecast after the break.
Well, rain is overspreading Sussex County, relatively on the light side, but we are seeing heavier pockets just to the west of Harrington, maybe a rumble of thunder there pushing over Goldsboro. But other than that, we're going to be seeing that rain overspread the coast here over the next few hours, and we're going to continue to see that rain into the overnight. Well, this is not good, right? Very high to high as far as the skeeter meter goes, as far as all that humidity in the air through the weekend. I'll tell you what, I am like fresh meat when it comes to the mosquitoes, so that is not good, not a good sign. Stacy Knapp of Georgetown, Delaware, you're the winner of our Paul Davis umbrella. You get your forecast anytime by dialing our First Alert weather phone for your latest forecast. Brockstead, Mandalas, Federico are the sponsors there. Now, we do keep the shower and thunderstorm threat Saturday. Sunday, I think most of the day is dry for the dads, but it's a rather cool day with an east to northeast wind. I think some of the areas along the coast struggle to get out of the 60s, and then we keep the clouds in play at least through Tuesday, but we do finally break this weather pattern. In fact, towards the tail end of that 10-day forecast, we could be beginning the start of a heat wave potentially.
Oh, all right. Well, thank you, Chris, and thanks for joining us for Coast TV News at 11 tonight. For some more local news and local weather, you can download our Coast TV News app. The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon's up next, and we'll see you tomorrow for Coast TV News at 6 p.m. Have a great night.